Olex Network 18, Mission Poshan, Bhavishya Roshan.
Welcome back. Well, I had to butt in on my way from the Morgan Stanley conference. The markets opened actually with a dash of green. Okay, it's red now. We'll just maybe have to bide our time and see how things pan out. At the moment, a red start. It's a third day running. It's possible that, there it is, some bit of green perhaps is on the way. Yes, there comes the first green tick. Let's just bide for the rupee as well and see whether things are looking okay. All right, that's reasonable strength. Nothing much to worry. The dollar is cheaper by about 5 pies. So the markets are definitely going to the credit policy with a firm footing on the dollar. I don't think anybody would argue that a rate hike is needed just to prop up the dollar. But yes, that will be on the Reserve Bank's table. But let's see if there is any impact on the IDFC and the Capital First stock. As well, if any of the power companies are doing well.
Actually, in pre-opening, Glenmark is down 10%. I don't know if that will come through, but the US FDA has issued those 5 observations in their Pithampur facility. So, you know, that's something that the street has been worried about, and now down almost about 4% in pre-opening. So keep an eye out on that. And a couple of other stocks from the frontliners, take a look at what Tata Power and Tata Motors are doing. Tata Motors is actually in the green, up about 1%. As we said, positive commentary from the analyst day. And Tata Power, let's take a quick look at that one. That one too was holding up, but I think now slipped into the red, down about 0.7%.
We'll have to settle down. See, HDFC Bank is once again starting with a 2% downtick. I thought all the fun and games in that stock is over, and yesterday it seemed to show a bit of stability. But and that was the only one which was pulling up the Bank Nifty into the green yesterday. But the early morning tick is a red one. I was expecting that maybe some of the power companies will be a little cheerful, as will be the banks. Hopefully, the government is very seriously looking for a solution to the stressed power companies. There are meetings lined up starting today. Well, at the moment, I cannot see too much by way of REC is actually starting in the negative. Not that that one is important, but yeah, even the otherwise beleaguered debt-ridden companies, ITNL, Relcom, Rel Power, companies that saw a lot of selling yesterday are seeing a bit of covering at this point in time. But we don't know if it'll hold. You know, these are early bids. Actually, the market is pretty directionless. At this point in time, flat as flat can get.
Absolutely. You know, it's just some of the sugar stocks because of that expected package today. The sugar names are rising a tad bit. I mean, nothing real to write home about. Mr. Tulsian, from the non-index large caps that have fallen, we were discussing, you know, potentials for long-term retail investors to buy. Anything fresh that has cropped up on your list lately?
See, Sonia, it needs to have the time horizon, and if you have a time horizon of 6 to 12 months, because we have always seen this kind of carnage happens maybe at every alternative year, maybe, you know, every couple of years we see this type of situation coming in. This reminds me of February 2016, when again the things were at such a low ebb that nobody was really willing to take a call. Now, if you really want to have two things certain, which I have been repeatedly saying, whether that applies for mid cap or for a small cap, that if you have the growth visibility and if you have the concern, if you don't have any concern on the promoters, I think those are the right stocks to buy and, you know, go into. Maybe just to give a case in points, as I've said yesterday also, maybe the aquaculture, shrimp farming stocks, maybe the metal kind of stocks, the steel stocks like Steel Authority, or maybe the telecom service providers, maybe like Sterlite Technology, Tejas Network, HFCL kind of stocks. Or maybe in the other spaces like auto ancillaries, you have empty number of stocks available. Because in auto ancillaries, I don't think that even if you have the what you call little lower growth, but if those are catering to the on margin fronts, because none of the auto ancillary stocks have disappointed on the revenue front. Maybe in some of the cases we have seen a drop in the margin fronts, but the kind of positive buy seen in tech for the companies like maybe two-wheeler, four-wheelers, whether you talk of Maruti, Bajaj Auto, Hero Moto, Eicher Motor, I think there are 50-60 stocks available in that space catering to all these automakers. So even there we can take a call, because even they have all corrected by about 15 to 20% in this carnage. So I think there are umpteen number of stocks available in these 4, 5, 6 sectors. But only caveat is that you need to have a time horizon of about 6 to 8 months. If you keep taking a daily call that my stock have fallen by about 4 to 5% or maybe 10%, I don't think that the investors will really be cool and calm by making investments in this fragile market.
Okay, all right, Mr. Tulsian, thank you so much for joining us. You have a good day. We'll, of course, come back to you for more. But for now, the market is absolutely flat. I think just buying time ahead of the RBI policy. Let's find out what's happening in the commodity space then. Manisha Gupta is here for a quick roundup of all the action there. Hi, Manisha. Good morning.
Morning, and thank you so much for that, Sonia. Well, it is interesting trend in the crude oil prices. You are looking at lower lows, but every decline is being bought into. A couple of factors really. On one side, you have US asking OPEC to start increasing supplies to fill in the gap. And you also are looking at the Chinese inventories continue to surge up. And these are the couple of factors which are weighing onto the markets. But on the other side, you also have seen the US inventories decline for a second straight week. And that is the reason you have seen some buying come back in the Asian markets right now. But you know what? The real excitement is in the metal space, where you have the copper prices trading at a 3-month highs. It's holding above $7,000 per ton on the LME right now. And this is because the second round of negotiation with the labor has failed. And 5% of global copper primary supply comes in from Escondida mine in Chile. Those supply concerns are keeping the prices on the higher side. You also have seen the aluminum prices continue to gain as the LME inventories see the stocks the lowest since the month of Feb. The surge has continued for the lead prices also, where the LME lead is trading at a 4-month highs, but the Shanghai lead is trading at an 18-month highs. This also, as you have seen, constant decline in inventories, and the demand has been picking up. Nickel, of course, continues to be our outperformer, where we have seen a crackdown continue in China, and the demand from steel and the EV sector is something that has been on the stronger side. So it's nearly 22% up on nickel prices on LME, but 32% up on MCX as we stand in 2018 right now. So this is one sector which continues to do very well.
Okay, thank you very much for all those details, Manisha. Metal stocks in India, well, Vedanta has been bugged by so many other issues like the Tuticorin plant. Therefore, it's not taking advantage of what would have been otherwise a good news for that stock. But nickel actually would be negative for stainless steel users because for them it will be expensive. I just want to put another data point, the bond yields. The yields have opened 2 basis points higher. Yesterday, there was a fairly big drawdown with the yields falling from 7.88 to 7.83. Today, I guess butterflies in the stomach ahead of the policy.
Yeah.
And the yield starts at 7.85. No worries, really. I mean, we have been there, done that, not to worry. And I really don't have much to add on the equity markets either, because at the moment it's extremely flat and not really giving us a direction. So let's seek direction on the real economy from someone who would know the consumption space well. In any case, the FMCG space has been abuzz with bullishness on the rural recovery that we saw in the Q4 numbers. So we invite Saugato Gupta, the Managing Director and CEO of Marico, to chat about the rural space, the food business, and of course, their own innovation pipeline. Good morning, Sugata. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, in your fourth quarter results, you indicated rural consumption has grown faster than urban. How much does it account at all in your total revenue, and what's the expected growth in the rural piece?
So I think our rural contribution from direct rural sales is around 33%. This number has been going up from year on year. And we believe that going forward, I think after a lot of hiatus, rural sales started growing higher than urban for the last 2 quarters. And I think this trend will continue. If the monsoons, whatever indications are that the monsoon will be good, and some of the initiatives which the government has been taking to improve farmer incomes, I believe that the rural turnaround will happen in terms of consumption this year, although the turnaround will be gradual.
Okay, the turnaround will be gradual. So 33% of the revenue was from the rural areas last year. And if it grows at a faster clip this year, what would the target be?
I think it has been a steady increase in terms of rural. And as you know that we also are focusing on both premiumization and bottom of pyramid. So our rural contribution, I think it has taken around, I would say that over the next 3-4 years, that number should touch 40%.
Sagato, input prices, how have they behaved so far? Actually, food prices are lower. So, will your margins be under pressure or will they improve because of lower raw material costs?
So I think copra prices had peaked sometime in January, February, and then I think it's come down from its peak. Having said that, I think as far as we are concerned, the worst is over. The margin pressure will keep, I think we will continue over definitely in the first half of the year, given the fact that the crude is also at a certain high, but then crude is also over the last 1 week has softened a bit. So I think as far as we are concerned, our objective is to maximize volume growth and ensure that we don't lose market share, and we will definitely pick up margins in the back half of the year.
Okay, the space that's abuzz now is food, right? I mean, Nestle, HUL, Britannia, everyone's entering the macro snacking and breakfast categories. What are you doing with your food portfolio? Any new launches there?
So we expect the food business to definitely grow northward of 15 to around 15-20%, and we might launch some new initiatives over the next 6 to 9 months. I think food, if you look at the overall food penetration of packaged health foods, whether it's breakfast or in between meals, the penetration continues to be low. Given the disposable income and the economic growth of the country, we believe that healthy packaged foods are going to increase. In that context, I think if a couple of pairs are there and they invest in the growth of the market, it's fine actually.
Yeah, I take that point, Sugata. For overall, therefore, FY19, double-digit growth on the cards?
So I think we expect, I think our aspiration is to grow definitely 8 to 10% volume growth in this year. And I think that will translate into definitely, because of inflation and some of the price increases, 15% plus top line growth for the Indian business. If we are able to achieve a 8 to 10% volume growth.
Okay, all the best for the quarters to come. Well, that's talking about snacking and breakfast. That makes me hungry. But let's divert our minds to the markets and get talking about the 9-10 call for the day. Ashwini, what are you looking at? Just about 2 minutes to go before the market opens.
I think if we open a little higher, you can get short on Voltas with a stop of 524. Look for target about 500.
Okay. Good morning, Ashwini. If the index were to open as flat as this, 10,600, just about holding, is there a trade?
See, the trade is if RBI comes out with good news and takes the Bank Nifty higher by 150, 200 or the Nifty higher by 50, 70 points, that's a place to get short. If you are short here and there is good news, then you will tend to get trapped. My sense is even good news will find selling.
Okay, no question of going long at all then, at any dip.
See, the point is that, market is in a firm downtrend, and these are all, small things which matter for hardly 2 days. And the bears are still looking for, higher levels to sell. Obviously, he won't say, I am reducing rates. So either it's hawkish or it's raising of rates.
Less hawkish, yes.
Okay, so what do you do with some of these NBFCs that have still held their own? I mean, names like Bajaj Finance, etc.?
See, again, better than expected policy, etc. If that is the conclusion, they're likely to, go up. So Bajaj Finance, maybe you can buy in the morning, but the rest of the financials, housing finance and PSU banks and all the rest, if you get the rally post announcement, probably it would be a good time to sell.
Okay, well actually today the non-bank finance companies are doing reasonably well. Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, I thought I saw Indiabulls Housing as well in the green, yes, about 0.8%. Well, at the moment they are not struggling. Anything in this space for a long or a short trade, Sudarshan?
No, there is no long trade.
Oh.
There's only a short trade, and that short trade is primarily in financials, Manappuram, or even say Indiabulls real estate, Indiabulls Housing, real estate, finance companies. Both groups should see lower levels after the policy.
Okay, and we are really not able to glean anything from the Nifty at the moment. Mitesh, is there a trade, Nifty Bank, if it opened at these levels or the Nifty at these levels?
Yeah, I don't think I'll take a trade at these levels, Lata. I think, as I said in the morning as well, it should be either a break below 10,560, 550 for the Nifty.